Now, we're very honored tonight. We're very honored tonight because we have with us a keynote speaker who has known and shown what it means to stand up and fight for what he believes in. He's a person who's already rolled up his sleeves. You know, he was recently re-elected governor of Maryland. And our governor went down there and tried to influence that election. And when Governor Christie went down to Maryland to campaign for Governor O'Malley's opponent, Governor O'Malley was only slightly ahead. Then Chris Christie went down. Governor O'Malley won by 14.5 points. And what he did, he beat the former Republican governor. He beat his former opponent. He beat him the second time. And I like that title, former Republican governor. We're going to use that here in New Jersey. He was mayor of Baltimore. And as mayor, he got elected. Listen to this. He got elected with 90% of the vote. That's a number that will make even Ryan Stack blush. He brought communities together. He made Baltimore a safer, a cleaner, a healthier city. In the toughest times and in the toughest fights, he led the charge to move Maryland forward, building what Education Week magazine rated as America's best public school system. America's best public school system. Violent crime was driven down, college tuition frozen, restoring health to the Chesapeake Bay, all while cutting $5.6 billion in state spending. That's the kind of governor that a Democratic governor is. In 2009, Governing Magazine named Governor O'Malley Public Official of the Year, and his star continues to rise. This year, he was chosen by his fellow Democratic governors to serve as chair of the Democratic Governors Association, and has become an impassioned, necessary voice on the national stage. You know, when we had our last series of Jefferson Jackson winners, which ended in 1988, our last keynote speaker, before we took that 20-year hiatus, was the governor of a small state as well. Governor from a small state called Arkansas. Bill Clinton came and spoke to the Jefferson Jackson dinner. And I believe Bill Clinton's rise was due to his speech at the Jefferson Jackson dinner. So, ladies and gentlemen, a governor who will go as far, please welcome the governor of the great state of Maryland, Marshall O'Malley.
Simple, important word, and that is math. So Chairman Wisniewski, thank you and your lovely wife Debbie. Thank you for introducing me to so many of your friends. Thank you for your kindness and your invitation to join you here tonight with so many good Democrats. Speaker Oliver, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for everything that you're doing to pull together such a tremendous assembly that you have, as evidenced by your tremendous award winner tonight, Bonnie Watson-Coleman. Tremendous work. I know that Governor Florio was here as well, and as was Senate President Sweeney. And I want to say to all of you, the crowd of Democrats from the for your kindness and asking me to be with you today. I also know that we have a number of mayors in the audience. Are there any mayors? Raise your hand. There's lots of mayors. We have Mayor Mark Smith of Bayonne. We have Janice Marino. We have Chuck Chiarello. We have Tony Restigliano. We have Bob Russo. We have Al Santos. We have Brian Waller. I myself was once a mayor, and there is a certain camaraderie. There's a certain camaraderie with mayors. I love my years as mayor of the city of Baltimore. And one of the things I love best about the job of mayor is that you bring people together to get difficult and important things done. And there's no Democratic way or Republican way to pick up the trash or to make a neighborhood safer or to improve your quality of life. And the other thing that's great about being mayor is there's no way to hide whether you're doing the job or whether you're just pretending. People know, and people respect the work. And I don't think that there's another more personal job in all of public service than that of mayor. So I salute all of you. And I bring you greetings from your friend in the great state of Maryland. And if you think about it, we actually have a lot in common, don't we? I mean, for example, you are the home of Frank Sinatra, and we are the birthplace of the great Billie Holiday. You are the home of the New Jersey Devils, and we are the vacation home of former Vice President Dick Cheney. I'm just getting going. We house much of the federal government, and nobody seems to care. You have the Giants and the Jets, and nobody nationally seems to notice. And in my favorite comparison of all, in Maryland, we threw out a mean-spirited, ineffective Republican governor after just one term, and in New Jersey, it's good to know we have so much in common, isn't it? Turn to your neighbor, tell them it's good to know we have a lot in common. It really is great to join you tonight. And the reason I really wanted to come here, Mr. Chairman, when you asked me, is because I think that our state, and the Speaker and I were talking about this as well, and all of you, I ran into so many people that said, hey, I have a brother in Maryland, or I have a sister in Maryland. We share a certain affinity. We are revolutionary people. And New Jersey and Maryland, as people, as a revolutionary people, we understand what it takes to move forward. We understand that leadership is about bringing people together to make the tough, difficult, but the right decisions that allow you to not only balance your budget, but also to move your state forward at the same time. If this were merely a mathematical exercise, there'd be no reason to even have a General Assembly. We're doing something bigger here than a mathematics exercise. We're trying to create a better future for the next generation of our state. We're trying to create a better future for the next generation of our country. And every state is needed. Every state is important, especially states as strong, states as gifted, and states as powerful as New Jersey. You know, for all their bombast and bluster, however, there is a group of ideological, new breed, narrow-minded, short-sighted, throwback, Tea Party, Republican governors who are not making the right decisions. They're not even making the tough decisions. The decisions that actually go beyond balancing the budgets to creating jobs, to expanding opportunity, and to doing both of those things now so we can move out of this extremely difficult period of time that we were left in by the prior national administration. So tonight I wanted to talk with you briefly about the differences, really, between Democratic governors, and I have the honor to chair the Democratic Governors Association this year. So I want to talk with you about the difference between Democratic governors, as if you don't know, and Republican governors, on jobs, on opportunity, and on tough choices that all of us have to make right now as a people in order to move our country forward and to move our states forward. You know, across our country, Democratic governors in the toughest of times are balancing budgets, making tough choices, creating jobs, and moving forward all at the same time. Balancing budgets is important. But what some Republican governors seem to lose sight of is this. They seem to forget that creating jobs, if we're going to move out of a recession, is also really critically important. They seem to forget. Long term, that's the only solution. We have to get our economy moving. We have to create jobs. We have to create opportunity. We have to do it from the dead start that George W. Bush left to us. And in the words of the great Bruce Springsteen, you can't start a fire without a spark. You know, President Clinton knew that in his years as president, with Frank Lautenberg and Bob Menendez at his side. He built a fiscally responsible bridge to the future. He created jobs while cutting spending. He made government work. He actually created record surplus. And guess what? He did all of these things at the same time. That's what we expect of good leadership. That's what President Obama is striving to do right now when he calls upon us to innovate, to educate, and to rebuild. That's what Democratic governors across our country, from New York to California, are striving to accomplish. That's what your Democratic state legislators here are fighting to do, even in the face of some pretty challenging obstacles. Now, does that mean, I can hear the birds in the rafters, does that mean that we just spend our way into recovery without any regard for balancing budgets? No, no. Far from it. All 20 Democratic governors, all 20 of us, are balancing budgets. We're required to do so every year. And we're doing it while also bringing people together to make the tough decisions, to invest in the future, to make our government work again. Do you really think you can just spend your way into a better economy? No, far from it. In Maryland, we've actually cut $6.6 billion in spending while making those record investments in public education, while being the only state to go 4 years in a row without a penny's increase in college tuition because we invested more in higher education. And we also have a AAA bond rating that was affirmed just a few weeks ago. We have that, with that AAA bond rating, we have a capital program that we're able to support that is igniting the best year of new job creation that we've been able to achieve in our state since 2007. We have driven unemployment down to the lowest rate in nearly 2 years. And the birds in the rafters will say, though, but doesn't that mean that you just raise taxes without regard to your business climate? Well, get this. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce, hardly a mouthpiece for the Maryland Democratic Party, declared Maryland one of the top 2 best states in America for innovation and entrepreneurship. Milken Institute says that we rank number 2 in life science and biotech. The Kauffman Institute says we're one of the top 3 in terms of our ability to make this new economy ours, to create greater jobs and greater opportunities as we make this change to a new economy. So why does any of that matter? Now, why does it matter whether Maryland's moving forward, whether New Jersey's moving forward, or in fact, whether any of our states are moving forward? Let me ask for a show of hands on this question. How many of you firmly believe that you have enjoyed a better quality of life than your parents and grandparents enjoyed? Raise your hand. Just every hand, right? Second question, more challenging, often more troubling. How many of you believe just as firmly that your children and your children's children will enjoy a better quality of life than you've enjoyed? Raise your hand. Harder question, isn't it? Folks, that's the fear of fear itself in our own time. And yeah, we have political opponents, but there is no bigger opponent that we have as a country right now than that pessimism, that fear of fear itself, that some in the other party seek to capitalize on. Make no mistake about it. Our country's in a fight. It's a fight for our economic future. It's a battle for jobs and opportunity in a changing economy. And the choices that we make as a people right now will very much determine what sort of future our children have. Get this, 30 years ago when I graduated from high school, we were #1 in high school graduation rates. You know where we are now as a country? We're about 11. 30 years ago when I graduated from high school, we were #1 in college graduation rates. We're now at 12. We spend more as a people on potato chips than we do on research and development in energy. That's not the America that our parents and our grandparents gave to us. We are better than that. It's not what the other countries are doing to us. It's what we are not doing for ourselves. And that's why especially in the toughest of times, we know how critically important it is to invest in our children's future. That's why we know that that investment in education and more affordable college is so very, very important. That's why we invest in research, development, cures, healing, technology. We have always, as a people, had the ingenuity, the guts, and the grits to see these waves coming, and to be able to make that wave of change ours. And you can't start a fire without a spark. It is time to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure. It is time to end the pity party, pick up our socks, and move forward. As Democrats here at this Jefferson Jackson Day dinner, we know that in the words of Robert Kennedy, that the future is not a gift. It's an achievement. We know that we must invest in job creation. We must invest in creating a stronger and growing middle class, because expanding opportunity is not only the surest path to greater prosperity, it's also the surest path to fiscal health, to restoring fiscal balance, not only to all of our state ledgers, but also on the national level as well. Now, unfortunately, and I'm not telling you anything you don't know, unfortunately, there is a new breed of Tea Party Republican governors who are not focused on job creation. They are engaged in historic overreach. They care more about settling old scores, seemingly, than they do about creating new jobs. And rather than advancing innovation, they're pushing a narrow ideology. Instead of expanding opportunity, they seek to make teachers and firefighters and police and nurses pay the price for a recession that they did not cause. And instead of standing up for the middle class, we get stand-up comedy routines from colorful characters like your own governor. But his record's no laughing matter. Raising property taxes on the middle class, senior citizens, and on the disabled, while giving tax breaks to millionaires and billionaires. Driving up his own YouTube ratings, even while he is driving down New Jersey's bond ratings. Killing tens of thousands of ARC tunnel jobs while New Jersey unemployment climbs to 9.2%. Raising tuition in America's second most expensive state universities, while other nations make college more affordable and send more and more of their kids to college. Slashing public education, even losing $400 million in the race to the top grants because of sloppy, messy paperwork that they have. And probably, in my view anyway, most disappointing of all, given the strengths that you have as a state, and disappointing of all, especially if you're a mom or dad who continues to look for work in New Jersey, is Governor Christie's totally dismissive attitude toward the very things that create jobs. The things that we can only do together. Educating, innovating, rebuilding our transportation infrastructure, not to mention our broadband and our cyber infrastructure, so that we can take advantage of the new opportunities and the new jobs of this new economy. Listen to this. In February, as Governor Christie tap danced across the national media stage in Washington, entertaining a standing room only audience of enthusiastic FDR haters, he took great delight in dismissing the job-creating potential of important initiatives like high-speed rail, like internet broadband, like a new infrastructure to support electric cars. And he called them, and I quote, the candy of American politics. The candy of American politics. Well, friends, job creation is serious business. Job creation is not candy. Look someone in the eyes who's been out of work and can't keep a roof over their home and can't put food on their family's plates. Try to tell them that these sorts of infrastructure projects, that these sorts of efforts are merely candy. Job creation is the most important thing that any governor can be focused on right now. What kind of make-believe world does Chris Christie live in? We're rebuilding our infrastructure, connecting our businesses, large and small, to broadband internet, creating jobs through innovation, and next-generation manufacturing can be looked upon as candy. Folks, that's not American exceptionalism. That's American infantilism. But of course, these Tea Party Republican governors would have us believe a lot of things that simply aren't so, wouldn't they? In their make-believe world, they would have us believe that we can somehow eat cake and lose weight. They would have us believe that in their macroeconomic view of the world, that unions cause recessions. They would have us believe that massive permanent tax cuts for the wealthiest of Americans doesn't cost a dime. In fact, it even inspires them to run down to the local unemployment office and hire more people to come home and wash their Maseratis. And it would have us believe that bridges, well, they're sort of like trees. If you leave them alone, they'll get taller and stronger with age. At the Republican Governor's Tea Party, where colorful characters like your own Chris Christie preside, there is no need to pay bills. There's no need to protect bond ratings. There's no need to invest in the future. Because down is up, up is down, vegetables are candy, and candies are vegetables. But of course we know that their Tea Party is a lot more Alice in Wonderland than it is Sam Adams. It's a lot more Mad Hatter than it is James Madison. And in conclusion, New Jersey, my message, I guess, tonight to you is this. What was true in Jefferson's time and in Jackson's day is still true in ours. These are difficult and challenging times. But there is no progress without struggle. And there is no victory without sacrifice. And America needs our generation, as she has needed every generation, to stand up together and to face the challenges of our own day. And not only face them, but face them and win. Not just for us, but for the people that are watching that come after us, with all of the assets that you have in your favor as a state. Your diversity, your geography, your world-class workforce, your leading institutions of higher learning. You have so many advantages in this changing new economy. And our country really, really needs you. Don't give up. You are a great state. This temporary difficulty will pass. And New Jersey is going to lead the way forward. And so I leave you tonight, as I began with the words of your own Bruce Springsteen, who said that it is through the truthful exercise of the best of human qualities, respect for others, honesty about ourselves, faith in our ideals, that we come to life in God's eyes. It is how our soul as a nation and as individuals is revealed. It's time to pick up the pieces and move forward, because the country that we carry in our heart is waiting. God bless you all.